Hey guys, so I've been thinking a lot just about life and basically about being human. Which is crazy as that is, my brain just is constantly on the go, always thinking about something involving the bigger picture of things. And that's just always how my brain has worked. I don't know if any of you have ever felt the same, but my brain just always thinks about the bigger picture and how we are so not necessarily insignificant, but just so small on the big scheme of things when it comes to the earth, when it comes to the universe. And last night my brain was just constantly going. I took down a couple notes and I figured I would make a video about it. I just have my notes here in front of me, so if I'm looking down a lot, that is why. So why people do the things they do, and not in the normal sense of, oh, why do you brush your hair? Why do you brush your teeth? Why do we go to school? Like, not that kind of stuff. I was more so thinking about the jobs that people do and the jobs that people pursue and why. And it got me thinking about the ladder system of our society. So I'm going to start, not necessarily at the bottom, but I'm just going to start with the working class. So there's people who work, they're just go do their job, come home, live their lives, pretty basic, pretty simple. And everyone who goes to work generally works for some type of bigger corporation or some type of just something bigger, something that isn't a mom and pop store. So we just go do our jobs, we get paid to do these jobs, and then we take the money that we have and we spend it on our living, entertainment, and basically we're putting it back into the system. Again, going and buying your groceries, we're buying it at, let's say, Walmart or Superstore or Costco, right? There's other people like us who work there, but they're not the ones who are getting the money that we are spending. The money is going to the people higher up on the ladder who run these corporations. And these people live very luxuriously. They have very little, not necessarily problems, but money can buy your way out of a lot of things. So they are able to kind of control and manipulate our society into a way that benefits them, because we as humans are very lazy. We don't want to do things that often. Well, not that we don't want to do things that often, but if there's an easier way to do something, we will do it that way, basically. So that got me thinking about how these corporations and the people behind the corporations are able to manipulate us because of money. We are reliant on money. If we don't have money, we are either living on the streets or in a shelter, or basically without money in our society, you can't do anything. They manipulate it to, I feel like I'm just repeating myself, but they make jobs that will benefit their company. So, for instance, in Canada, there's a lot of farming. So there's a lot of dairy, there's a lot of dairy farms, a lot of meat farms, a lot of slaughterhouses, lots of veggies. On the coast, there's lots of fishing, and so on and so forth. And yes, we need food to live. I'm not saying that we should stop fishing or anything, but there was a time where there wasn't necessarily as much money, or money at all, going back to the First Nations, but these were things that people needed to do to live. And the things we do now we don't necessarily do them out of primal instinct. We do them because it's socially acceptable to do that. You know what? It's going to be a bad example with whatever I pick. So you know what? Let's go with beef, because I'm going to get a whole lot of hate for picking beef. So let's pick beef. So the meat industry, because at one point, it was hard to find food. At one point in human history, it was hard to find food, so getting food with the most caloric density was good for us because we would store fat and we would live off of that fat. Whereas in today's society, we don't necessarily need to carry excess weight on us because food is so accessible. Therefore, having high calorie foods is not necessarily as essential for the everyday person because it is so easy to access food. You can literally go down the street and find food. So at one point in human history, someone found a way to make money and to make their life easier by selling a product or selling an idea to the vast majority, to everyone else, to all the people who are still down here, and they climbed up the ladder. By doing so, they are not necessarily taking advantage, but for lack of other terms, I'm going to take advantage of our laziness and our wants to be comfortable, and they sold us this meat industry, which prior to this industry, we would have had to gather our own food, kill our own animals, either raise them and later on kill them for their meat, or we would go hunting, and these animals would be we would be like any other predator. We'd hunt this animal just like a lion would hunt a gazelle, which normal, that happens in the wild. It's gonna happen. You can't just go and tell a lion to stop eating gazelles. But at some point, someone decided that this is going to be how they're going to live. This is how they're going to make their income. This is how they're going to live comfortably. And whether that was through trade, because everyone wanted it, or through money, again, because everyone wanted it. So in a sense, these people who run these corporations can control what people find acceptable, because once everyone starts doing it, whether it's good or bad, it becomes acceptable. Like alcohol, if people drink, it's acceptable because everyone does it, right? It becomes the norm. Because these corporations kind of have control over society, my theory is that they kind of work hand in hand with government. Because the government makes the laws, it makes the standard of what is okay legally what is okay. And laws change over time for good reasons and some for bad, but most of the time it's good. These changes to the system happen most of the time because either someone has done something really wrong and they need to make a law to stop other people from doing that again, or because us down here and the jobs, going to work every day kind of thing, want it. So for us to want it, we're almost being manipulated to want it, to be acceptable. And we're being manipulated by these corporations because by us wanting this product, they're going to benefit from it. So take the legalization of marijuana, for example. we as a society wanted it, whereas in previous in our history it was bad to do so or whatever. And I'm not saying that if you smoke or eat cookies or anything like that that you're a bad person. I'm not saying that at all. I'm just saying that because it's been illegal for so long, it's different. I'm not going to get into that, but that's a whole different topic. But basically, because we want this, there's a big push for it. The government is going to say, okay, you can buy this now, but you can only buy it from these special shops, these dispensers, these whatevers, and these dispensers, these stores, these shops are going to be run by corporations, and they're going to bank in on everyone buying these products. And this is where it gets complicated, because yes, there's human desire, there's human want, there's human need, but there's also the, where do we draw the line for humanity as a whole? Like, I'm trying to look at the bigger picture here. So let's say we went back, not back in time, but let's say we took certain principles from different time periods and put them in today, how different our society would be. Let's say instead of going to Walmart, Superstore, Costco to buy our groceries, we went to the farmer's market. Where would our money go? Our money would go to our neighbor. Our money would go to the person living down the road. It would go to the farmer and his family and his like 5 kids that live east of town, kind of thing, right? Instead of going to these big corporations who manipulate and control our society, essentially, and how different, I'm just thinking of how different our society would run if it was still mom and pop stores. Let's say you owned a store and you sold t-shirts that you made, or that you paid your cousin to do. Your cousin comes in, makes the clothing, whatever. The money that so you sell these products, you and your cousin, you make the money. So I'm going in and giving you and your cousin money for this product. It's not going to some higher up that is using slaves for like 50 cents over in China. Not slaves, but slaves. Using underpaid, underprivileged humans. I don't know, if you look back at any point in history, let's say with black slavery, they did the work for us, and we benefited from it. And we realized that was wrong. It's very wrong to use other people for your own benefit, but we still do it today, just in a different sense. And my question is for you guys, please leave it in the comments or whatever, or make a video response. My question is, when does it stop? When does this cycle of using other people for our benefits stop? When do we start helping each other rise up, instead of being like, well, I'm going to benefit from this and you're going to stay down here because I like my life up here? And I'm not saying we have to give up our TVs, our smartphones, our internet. I'm not saying that at all. All I'm saying is that when are we going to start having equality across everywhere? Not just women's rights, not just men's rights, not just interracial, not just Like, I'm thinking of the bigger picture here. When will us as a society, when will us as a planet be able to have just peace? And yes, I know you're thinking, oh, well, that's never going to happen, which right now it's not. But you know what? We also used to hang people in the middle of the street and think that that was okay. So my question is, when will things change? And when are we going to be a part of that change? So just some food for thought there. Like I said, this is what goes on in my brain all the time, and I figured I would make a video about it, and I jotted down notes and stuff. So yeah, I hope the rest of your guys' day goes well. I'm actually just about to go for a jog, so I will see you guys in the next video. Bye!